Assalamu alaikum dear students, hope you are doing well. Today I am going to discuss MCQs on arguments, predicates and quantifier. MCQs 1. Which of the following represent a predicate? In case of predicate, a statement contains variable. First option, 5 plus 3 equal to 8. It's an equation like 5 plus 3 equal to 8. X plus 2 greater than 7. 10 is even. 4 is less than 9. The given option B, x plus 2 greater than 7 contains variable. So the correct option is B. A predicate contains a variable and becomes a proposition when a value is substituted. The second MCQ is the statement for all x, x plus 1 greater than x over real number. For all x means related to universal quantifier. Quantifier have two types. First one is universal quantifier and the second is extension quantifier. The statement for all x, x plus 1 greater than x over real number is the given statement is true because for every real number, adding 1 makes it greater than the original number. The negation for all x p of x is the negation of for all x p of x. For all x means there exists x negation p of x. P of x is a propositional function. The negation of for all x means there exists at least one x negation of p of x. There exists some x negation of p of x. The negation of for all x p of x is first option is for all x negation of p of x. Option B, there exists some x negation of p of x. Option C, negation of negation there exists some x p of x, and the option 4 is p of x for all. The correct option is there exists some x negation of p of x. The negation of for all x p of x is there exists some x negation of p of x. The negation of for all is there exists at least one for which the statement is false. The negation of there exists or at least one x p of x is there exists means the negation of there exists some x means for all x negation of p of x. In this case the correct option is A, for all x negation of p of x. The negation of there exists is for all not. MCQs 5. Which inference rule follows P implies Q, Q implies R, therefore P implies R. In this case, P implies Q, Q implies R, therefore P implies R, like a transitive property. In case of reflexive, symmetric, and transitive in case of reflexive property like same element. In case of transitive, symmetric, A with B with A, and in case of transitive property, A implies B, B implies C, this implies that, A implies C. P implies Q, Q implies R, therefore P implies R. First option is modus ponens. Option B is hypothetical syllogism. Option C is disjunctive syllogism, and option D is addition. The correct option is hypothetical syllogism. This rule combines two conditional statements to form a new conditional statement. Implication means conditional statement. P implies Q, like if P then Q, Q implies R, therefore P implies R. This rule is called hypothetical syllogism. MCQ 6. If P of x colon x square greater than or equal to 0 over real number, the statement for all x P of x is true. X square greater than or equal to 0 over real number. The correct option is A. The statement is true. The square of any real number is always non-negative. MCQ 7. Which quantifier state that a property holds for at least one element? Which quantifiers state that a property holds for at least one statement true? In this case, universal quantifier for all x. In case of extension quantifier, at least one. Negation means not, conjunction means and. The correct option is extensional quantifier. The extensional quantifier indicate that at least one element satisfy the predicate. MCQs 8. If P of x, x is a prime number, which statement is true? X is a prime number, which statement is true? For all x P of x, there exists some x P of x. Negation, there exists some x P of x, like not for all x, negation of P of x. In this case, the correct option is x is a prime number. Which statement is true? The statement is true is there exists some x P of x. There exists at least one prime number. For example, 2, 3, 5 P of x. As x is a prime number. Which statement is true? The true statement is MCQ option B. There exists at least one prime number. There exists at least one prime number. MCQs 9. In the argument form PRQ, negation P, therefore Q is called. In the argument PRQ, negation P, therefore Q is called modus tollens, disjunctive syllogism, hypothetical syllogism, and conjunction. In this case, the correct option is B, and the option B is disjunctive, like PRQ implies negation P, therefore Q is called disjunctive syllogism. Conjunction, disjunction to disjunction. If one option in a disjunction is false, the other must be true. In case of disjunction, if one option is false, the other must be true. The argument form PRQ, negation P. In case of disjunction, one is true, other is false. The truth statement is also true. One is true, other is false. Yeah, one is false, other is true. The disjunction, the truth value of this in case of disjunction is true. MCQs 10. The domain of a predicate determines the truth value, possible variable values, logical operators, premises. The correct option is possible variable values. The domain specifies the set of values the variables can take. In case of predicate, we can substitute the values in a given variable, and the variable become a proposition when we substitute the value of the variable. The domain of predicate determines possible variable values. The domain specifies the set of values the variable can take. MCQs 11. Consider P of x, x greater than 10 with domain integers. Which value makes P of x is true? X greater than 10. The correct option is C. In case of integer like positive integer 11, x 11 is greater than 10. The P of x is true when we take x is the value of x is 11. 11 is greater than 10, so it satisfies the given predicates. P of x, x greater than 10 with domain integer, which makes P of x is true. Repeated MCQs. 11, option C is true. And so it satisfies the given predicates. And which makes P of x is true.